Yeah.
I'm going out, okay?
Okay. Will any girls be there?
Yeah, few. Hello? Yeah, bro, I'm not feeling that well. Yeah, I don't think I can come today. Yeah, okay.
If you have been on the internet, you would know that the Indian content space is filled with videos like this. In the last 5 to 6 years, conversations about abusive relationships and domestic violence has been quite relevant on the internet because of a certain filmmaker and his films. I have heard a lot of people talk about how his films might influence people into being abusive and toxic towards their partners, and this is an argument that I disagree with. A film is a world of fiction, and I believe that the audience is smart enough to distinguish between reality and fiction. Social media, on the other hand, is where the game gets tricky. See, people on social media spend way too much time and energy and resources into making other people believe that whatever they see on their Instagram page is their actual reality. The second thing is, when we see an abusive relationship in a film, there is a lot of story and context surrounding it. There is a bigger story surrounding it, and the scenes that we see on the screen are essential for the progression of the story and the development of the character. But when it comes to social media content, a wife or a girlfriend's extremely violent outburst or reaction to her husband or boyfriend is the actual punchline of the entire video. The joke of the video is that she hit him. While I have never felt that the abusive relationships and the domestic violence shown in those certain films was put there for the laughs, I cannot say the same about the social media content. And my genuine question is, why? Why, even in 2024 and 25, are we making content about physically abusing your husband and boyfriend? Why is this content about how husbands hate their wives, how husbands are afraid of their wives, and how the wife slapped her husband? If you have ever seen a reel on the internet about a man hitting a woman, it's mostly a social awareness reel, which is a good thing. When the genders are reversed, it's comedy. See, in the 18th, 19th, and the 20th century, women were not as independent as they are now, and even the world was not as open as it is now. If we look at our history, there have been horrendous crimes against women, and at the time, these were not even crimes but the norm. And even now, the world is not as great as we would like it to be. At one point of time, beating the shit out of one's wife was the norm. I have heard stories about what other men and even women would say about a man who did not hit his wife. They would often question his masculinity and the character of the wife. I have heard such stories. The world was quite a fucked up place, and it still is. Hence, making a reel about hitting your wife under the garb of comedy is not only problematic but also traumatic for a lot of people, including men who grew up in a household where their mothers and grandmothers were beaten ruthlessly. But does that give us the green light to make videos about physically abusing your boyfriends and husbands? Absolutely not. For me, personally, watching these videos is not triggering or traumatic, because I do not believe that these videos would turn women into abusers. But the world does not revolve around me, right? If you look around yourself, if you are in a relationship or if your friends are in a relationship, the girlfriend having a violent outburst at her partner, which might be verbal or even physical, it's not perceived as threatening as it would have been had it been done by a man. It's not a men versus women issue. It's what history has taught us. And I am not crying about it, because that's how the world is. But at some point, we do have to wonder where the line is drawn. Making content about how your husband wanted to go out and then you slapped him so he cancelled his plans. Making content about how your husband is constantly afraid of you, or how he constantly lies to you because he's afraid of your reactions, is not comedy. We often make fun of old uncles whose entire sense of humor revolves around making jokes about their wives. But how do we not see that we are making the same jokes, just in a different way? Our jokes might differ, but the mindset is still the same. Jokes about hitting your husband and being afraid of your wife is in the same league of the regressive humor that we hate when it's done by those uncles. What's disheartening is the fact that people leave comments about finding these videos hilarious. Are they hilarious? No, absolutely not. It's weird how people don't really seem to have a problem with social media content that showcases violence against men, domestic violence against men, in a light-hearted, funny manner. But everyone starts to lose their minds when a film like Kabir Singh or Animal comes around. It's weird how Safina's toxic and territorial nature in Gully Boy was ignored the same year that Kabir Singh was criticized for the same. And what's weird is when you call people out for their hypocrisy, their narrative shifts to we are against domestic violence, regardless of the gender. But when I see that videos like these are not only being made but are also gathering millions and millions of views, I know where your morals are. And please note, I'm not throwing shade on the creators that I talk about in this video because mostly I enjoy their content myself and they are not the only ones making such videos.
Consent is the most important thing in a relationship. It is as vital as trust. So please understand that no means no. Maybe means no. I don't know means no. And silence also means no. Only yes means yes.
धीरज तूने शक्ल फोटो लाइक किया फोन दे अपना
No, consent is the
It's not about any specific creator, rather, this whole online space where domestic violence against men is a joke